All right, today we're jumping into a short play called Teasing by Tom Erb. Now, on the surface, it looks like it's just about a really high-stakes golf game. But trust me, the real drama here has absolutely nothing to do with who wins a trophy. So, the scene is set, and it's a classic one, right? We're at the very climax of a big tournament, the final hole. You've got 3 players left. There's an older vet, a young up-and-comer, and a guy who calls himself a legend. Everything is supposedly on the line. But is it really? See, in this game, that shiny trophy is just a big distraction. The real prize here is something much more personal. It's about survival. Let's dive into how that works. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're on the 18th tee box, and you can just feel it. The air is thick with tension. And it's not just the pressure of the competition, it's these massive egos that are about to collide on the green. And boom, right out of the gate, we meet Phil. With this one single line, he lays out the whole dynamic for us. He's framing John as the old guy who's past his prime, Rory as just some kid, and of course himself as the legend. The mind games have already begun. But to really get what's going on, you have to look beyond the fairway, because every single player on this green is hiding a pretty big secret. And wow, this is where it all gets messy. This hidden web of relationships is the real engine of the story. So you've got Rory, who isn't just trying to beat Phil at golf, he's in love with Phil's wife, Cindy. Then there's Phil, acting all cocky, but behind the scenes, his marriage is completely falling apart. And even John, the quiet veteran, has his own complicated history that's tied to Phil's caddy. It is a total minefield of secrets, and it's just waiting to explode. So you can imagine, with all that bubbling just beneath the surface, it doesn't take long for the trash talk on the green to go from simple jabs to something, well, a lot more dangerous. Phil decides to throw the first punch, verbally at least. He's just dismissing Rory, trying to frame him as this annoying little pest. He's trying to get in his head, make him feel small. But Rory, he's not having it. He comes right back and flips that insult into a straight-up threat. He's saying, "I'm not just an annoyance. I can actually ruin your life." The subtext there is just chilling. Of course, Phil just laughs it off, trying to keep up that legend persona. He claims he's immune, but the fact that he even has to say it, it kind of tells you that Rory's words definitely hit their mark. And this is where Rory just lands a direct hit. He calls out a physical sign that Phil is totally stressed out. The mind games are clearly working. The so-called legend is starting to crack, and Rory sees it plain as day. So what happens when all this psychological warfare takes over? Well, their actual golf game starts to completely fall apart. Their focus is gone, and their skills just abandon them at the worst possible moment. And here you see it. Each of them, totally driven by their need to one-up the other, just chokes. Phil, trying to prove he's the boss, slices his ball right into the water, and Rory, desperate for his big moment to shine, hooks his shot straight into a sand bunker. Their egos are literally tanking their games. And you better believe Rory is loving it. He doesn't miss a beat. The second Phil messes up, he's right there, rubbing it in. You can feel the personal satisfaction. There's zero sportsmanship left. And of course, Phil gives it right back to him the moment Rory makes his own mistake. It's just pure, unfiltered contempt from both of them at this point. So the game's a total disaster, and the animosity between Phil and Rory is at an all-time high. But just when you think it can't get any more intense, an interruption is about to blow every single one of those secrets we talked about wide open. Out of nowhere, Phil's caddy, Wilson, comes running onto the green. He says there's an urgent phone call for Phil. I mean, who gets a phone call in the middle of the final hole of a tournament? This is it. The real world is about to crash their little game. And get this, Wilson isn't just some guy carrying the clubs. He is the key to this entire mess. He's connected to every single person out there. He is the walking, talking center of this whole web of secrets, and he's about to unravel everything. So Wilson tells Phil it's his wife, Cindy, on the phone. And after this really dramatic pause, he relays the message, "She said she loves you." And for just a second, you're thinking, wait, what? Are they getting back together? And then, bam, the other shoe drops. Wilson clarifies, pointing right at Rory. "No, not you, him." The message wasn't for Phil at all. Cindy's declaration of love is for her husband's biggest rival, who is standing right there next to him.
And before Phil can even begin to process that level of betrayal, Rory just twists the knife. He confirms it. This isn't just some fling. This is the actual end of Phil's marriage.
And there it is, the final brutal confession. The game is officially over. Because this is what it was all about. All the taunts, the pressure, the bad shots, it was all just a substitute for the real fight. The fact that Phil's wife was leaving him for the kid he was trying to beat.
And then, cut to black. That's how the play ends. No winner, no resolution, just that raw, explosive truth hanging in the air. It just leaves you wondering, what on earth happens when the lights come back on?